Right now, your employer is waiting to give you free money, and most of you are literally refusing it. I'm talking about 401k employer matching. The average worker leaves approximately $10,000 to $15,000 in free employer contributions on the table every single year. Over a 30-year career, that's $300,000 to $450,000 in wealth you could have had but didn't. That's not a market crash. That's not bad luck. That's a behavioral mistake. I'm Ryan from Cashmine Daily, and we spend a lot of talking about saving money, crushing debt, and building actual wealth. But if you're not maximizing your 401k match, nothing else matters as much as this. Let's break down the exact mistakes costing you thousands. Mistake number 1, under-contributing to capture the full match. Here's how this works. Your employer offers a match, usually something like, we'll match 100% of the first 3% you contribute, or 50% match up to 6%. That's free money. Your employer literally budgeted this. It exists. It's waiting for you to claim it. But here's what happens. Someone gets hired, they're told about the 401k, and they contribute 1% or 2%. Maybe they think, I can't afford it right now. Maybe they're focused on paying down credit card debt, which, yes, is important, but this is different. You're being offered an immediate return on investment. If your employer matches 100% of the first 3% you contribute, that's a 100% instant return. There's no investment on earth that guarantees that. I met with Sarah last month, who was contributing 1% to her 401k. Her employer matched up to 5%. That means she was walking away from 4% in free money every single paycheck. Over 30 years with average market returns, that 4% difference compounds to nearly $200,000. That's not theoretical. I showed her the calculator. She said, I didn't think I could afford it. But here's the thing. When you increase your contribution from 1% to 5%, your paycheck barely changes because of tax advantages. It's not nearly as expensive as you think. Mistake number 2, the mid-year reduction. This one is sneaky because it's usually unintentional. Employee hits January 1st excited. This is the year. I'm contributing 6% to my 401k. They make $60,000 a year. They're setting aside $3,600 annually for retirement. Then somewhere around September, they realize they've hit their annual contribution limit. You're only allowed to contribute $23,500 to a 401k in 2024. So if you front-load contributions at the beginning of the year, you might max out by October or November. When you max out, most payroll systems automatically stop deducting your contribution for the rest of the year. And here's the problem. Your employer is also supposed to stop matching, but they sometimes don't coordinate this properly. You lose the match for the last quarter or 2 of the year. Even if the accounting gets fixed later, you've still left money on the table. But here's the bigger behavioral mistake. Some people see this happen and go, oh, I'll just reduce my contribution going forward. No, you should never reduce a contribution to avoid hitting the limit. Spread your contributions evenly throughout the year, about 4.4% if you want to contribute the max, and you'll capture matching all 12 months. Mistake number 3, not understanding vesting, then job jumping too early. Your employer matches contributions, but here's the catch. That money might not be yours immediately. It's subject to vesting schedules. Vesting means after how long is the employer's matching contribution legally yours. Common schedules. Immediate vesting, rare but amazing. 1-year cliff. You get it all after 1 year, or nothing if you leave before. 3-year graded. You get a percentage each year. 5-year graded, same but slower. If your company has a 3-year cliff and you leave after 2 years and 11 months, you lose all employer matching. All of it. I know someone who left a job after 2 years thinking she was getting $28,000 in employer matches. She checked before leaving. She had $0 because the 3-year cliff hadn't hit. Now, this doesn't mean stay in a bad job for vesting. Your career and happiness matter, but it does mean know your vesting schedule before you make moves. Mistake number 4, getting a raise and not updating your 401k contribution. You get a 3% raise. Great, your paycheck goes up, and then nothing changes. You don't increase your 401k contribution so that entire raise gets spent or absorbed elsewhere. Here's the behavioral fix. Every time you get a raise, increase your 401k contribution by at least half that raise. Your take-home still goes up, but you're capturing more matching and saving more for retirement. You don't even feel the difference. Someone making $60,000 who gets a 3% raise gets $1,800 more annually. If they increase their 401k contribution by $900, their take-home still goes up by roughly $700 to $800 after taxes. They barely notice. But that extra $900 compounds over 30 years into nearly $50,000 in retirement savings. That's the magic of not noticing the difference. Let me put this all together with actual numbers. Let's say you're 30 years old, making $55,000 annually. Your employer matches 100% up to 3%. Scenario A, you contribute 1%, the mistake. Annual contribution, $550. Annual employer match, $183 annually, $733. Over 30 years at 7% average returns, approximately $87,000. Scenario B, you contribute 3%, capturing full match. Annual contribution, $1,650. Annual employer match, $1,650. Total going in annually, $3,300. Over 30 years at 7% average returns, approximately $390,000. The difference, $303,000. That's not from your own money. That's from behavioral mistakes costing you compound growth. Here's the action plan. First, find your benefits document or call HR. Learn exactly what your match is. Don't assume. Know the percentage and the vesting schedule. Second, calculate what contribution level captures the full match. If they match 3%, you contribute 3%. If they match up to 6%, contribute 6%. This is non-negotiable. Third, check your paycheck. You'll be surprised how little the increase actually costs you after tax benefits. Fourth, set a calendar reminder. Whenever you get a raise, increase your 401k contribution immediately. Don't wait. Fifth, before you job hop, check your vesting schedule. Know if you're leaving money behind. This single decision, actually capturing your full employer match, might be worth more to your retirement than anything else you do with your money. Not because you're such an amazing investor, but because compound growth is real and you're taking advantage of free money.